Welcome back to Raised by Giants, where we talk all things spirituality. I'm Ryder Lee. Tonight we have special guest, author, hypnotherapist, and the father of reverse speech, David John Oates, speaking about the UFO community reverse speech analysis, who's real and who's cons. But before I introduce him, check out Raised by Giants on Rokfin. It is a completely uncensored platform. Go over there, set up a free account, get all of my regular content I post here on YouTube, and sign up for Rokfin's premium content, which is far less than a YouTube premium account, at only $10 a month. And you'll get all of my premium uncensored content when it gets released, and all of the other creators' premium content as well, like Beyond Classified, Charlie Robinson, Jay Dyer, Zero with Sam Tripoli, Tinfoil Hat, Eddie Bravo, and Rex Bear Leak Project, and much more. Check the link in the description to sign up for the video streaming platform, Rokfin. Also, check out C60 Purple Power. It is the most powerful antioxidant on the planet. Helps with energy levels, skin problems, infections, eyesight, brain cognition, EMF radiation, and a lot more. It's a free radical sponge that gives your body the ability to heal itself. And if you use promo code GIANTS10 from the link in the description, you'll get 10% off your entire purchase. I highly recommend it. I've been using it for over a year with my own money, and I wouldn't recommend something that doesn't work. Hello and welcome to the show, David Oates, the father of reverse speech analysis. I don't think you call yourself that, but I've branded you that title just now. But I'm looking forward to having a really fun conversation with you this evening. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, sir. Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I find your work very fascinating, David, because you really started all of this. And as far back as I can really remember, I always heard that if you play Stairway to Heaven by Leonard Skinner backwards, you get
Right.
satanic messages. Is this true? And did you start that whole thing with Leonard Skinner?
Okay. You're talking about Led Zeppelin and
Oh
Stairway to Heaven.
yeah, Led Zeppelin. Sorry, yeah. Why did I think it
No,
was Leonard Skinner? Yeah, Led Zeppelin. My bad.
no. No, well, I didn't start the Led Zeppelin thing. That was started in the early '80s. I started my research in '83, and I've been doing it full time ever since then. And one of the very first songs I looked at was "Stairway to Heaven" because everyone was saying it had satanic messages. Yeah, I mean, there's some messages there. I don't like the word satanic, but I guess that's the nap way to describe it. Uh, Stairway to Heaven backwards says it's my sweet Satan, the one whose little path would make me sad, whose power is fake. So there you go. That's what Led Zeppelin says. I can actually play it for you if you want to hear it. So
Yeah, let's
yeah.
play it. As long as the clip is small enough and I don't get hit with a copyright on it.
Oh, I see. Oh, gee,
uh,
I don't know whether you'll be hit with a copyright or not, but let me just pull that one up real quick. Because this is really the song that started it all off. It had
uh,
teenagers around the world playing the records backwards to find all these satanic messages, and of course that's when oh, well, I'll be bothered. Stairway to Heaven has been removed. Well, I don't know about that. Sorry
oh
about that.
no.
Okay, well, that's very strange. Hang on. Let's have a look in another one. Here we go. Okay, so this is Stairway to Heaven.
She's buying a stairway to heaven.
And the first thing you hear is play backward, hear words sung. The play is very long and drawn out, so you might have trouble hearing it, but certainly backward, hear words sung is quite clear.
Let me hear what sung.
And again,
Hmm.
What would you want?
There you go.
Wow.
So that's one of them. Anyway, and here's the satanic message. I got that one too. Okay, so that one here is the
So much fun in your head, no, don't be alone there. It's just that freaking for the make we. Yes, they try to get go back, but in the long run, there's still time to take the road.
this is it's my sweet Satan, the one whose little power would make me sad, whose power is fake. And we'll play it a little bit slower for you. So there you go. That's probably the song that started the whole thing off.
Absolutely, it did. Yeah, I remember hearing about that way back in the day. Thanks for playing that. So before we get too deep into the UFO people in the community, like David Wilcock and Corey Good and Whitley Strieber and people like that you've done this reverse analysis on, what is the theory behind this reverse analysis?
Right.
How does this work?
Yeah. Sure. Okay. The theory I've developed is that language is bi-level, forwards as well as backwards. This is a natural function of the human mind, a previously undiscovered human sense. As all of us are creating the sounds of our speech, we're creating them in such a way that we're delivering two messages at once, one forward from the conscious and the other in reverse from the unconscious. What reverse speech is communicating is the total contents of the psyche, not just our conscious thoughts, but also our unconscious thoughts and down to the spirit itself. Because of the depth that reverse speech has, I actually call it the voice of the heart. It is the heart of a person speaking in reverse, who we really are deep down inside. So that's the theory behind it. Yeah.
So what happens if someone is because from my understanding, if it's played in reverse and someone's not telling the truth, it kind of reveals the truth within their speech. Now, what happens when someone is telling the truth? Does it confirm what they're saying frontwards and it's confirmed backwards as well?
Yes. If they're saying the truth, you'll get almost the same thing backwards. It will totally validate what they're saying. Like someone might say, I went to the moon last week, and backwards they say I went on a spaceship. Okay, so that's a congruent reversal. Okay, it's giving us extra information, or it may be incongruent and say no, I didn't go. So it all depends on the truth. Reverse speech will communicate the total truth, and it's not just the truth according to the individual, but it is actually the total truth. So if someone believes what they're saying is true, but in actual fact it's not true, the reverse will come back and correct the lie, even though they may believe it to be true. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. I didn't realize that aspect of it. So what have you been able to do with this reverse speech analysis that you've done? Have you solved any cases or any murder cases or any open investigation cases with this reverse speech?
Yeah, I've done some work for the police, not a great deal. I worked for the Dallas police back in the 1990s on several cases, and reverse speech was in one location. One case, they were able to reveal the location of a murder weapon, and another case, the name of a suspect. I mainly use it personally. My own personal use of it is in therapy. I was a therapist before I started reverse speech, so it was only natural that I moved reverse speech into my work. And I have a very active practice, and reverse speech will tell us the exact reason for someone's problems or issues. It will tell us how to fix them, how to rectify them. It's extremely comprehensive in that regard. Let me just play you a really quick example of that. This is a woman. I'm going to play you an example of a woman I did session work with, where she tells me quite specifically what I've got to do to work with her problem. And the reversal is STUBW. Here it is here. So she's talking about money problems forwards.
She and I need to work this issue out, but it started to bring up all my money fears and stuff. And the thing is if I know I start sourcing fear again, I'm going to go way downhill.
Want to do that.
And here she says, work on my grief.
Work on my grief.
Work on my grief. Work on my grief.
And that was straight backwards. So that's the reversal telling us that in order to solve money issues, we've got to work with grief issues that she has. Okay. And reverse sweeps would come back with very clear instructions in therapy work. So that's the area I mainly apply it to, because that's my own personal interest. Like I said, we had some interest from the law enforcement in the 90s. I have done no work with law enforcement now for 20 years. So, yeah.
Now, what does academia say about reverse speech? Do they put credence to it? Would they use it in any aspect that what's going on there?
There's two ways I can answer that question. Officially, academia rejects reverse speech. They believe it to be a pseudoscience and a product of someone's over-imagination. Now, that's officially. Unofficially, I've had many academics support me privately and to say they know what I'm doing is real, but it would destroy their career if they were to come out and support it. You can see many of these endorsements from academics on my website. They have privately given me endorsements. So the best way to answer that question is publicly, there is no acceptance, but privately, there's a groundswell movement of people knowing that this is real and more work needs to be done. So that's the best way I can answer that question.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. I didn't even take into consideration the therapeutic aspects of doing that, because that would tell you a lot about what's going on with yourself and what you need to fix. Whenever you're.
Well, that's how I make my living. This is reverse speech is my career, and my profession is a reverse speech therapist.
So, what got you? Because you've done a lot of reverse speech analysis on an array of people. You've done it on, political people. You've done it on presidents. You've done it on an array of people. What made you get into doing it on this wide spectrum of people?
Yes, I do a lot of research into politics and public media. Why do I do that? Well, it's another valid aspect of reverse speech. I think when I do my radio interviews and podcasts, certainly the people, the hosts are looking for those type of reversals. So I have researched public field for many years, in primarily, I guess, because that's what the public wants and that's what they're looking for. Personally, I'm interested myself, I've done several research projects over the years. Like a couple of years ago, I did a research project on churches and Christianity and the reversals I found in that area. The year before that, it was COVID. The year before that, it was JFK assassination. This current year, it's UFOs and ETs, and so every year I have some new research project that keeps me occupied.
Yeah, that's really awesome. So you've done a lot of reverse analysis on some of the major players in the UFO community. The ones that I'm most familiar with are the David Wilcock and the Corey Goode reverse speeches, which is really interesting because Corey Goode just came out and said that he made up all of his stories. He just was just court deposition saying that we've covered it on the show quite a few times with me and Shane the Ruiner. But
I was all over that when he came out and said that.
Now, have you happened to do any reverse speeches on what he was saying in those deposition videos to see if he was telling the truth?
Oh,
that
the
he was
deposition videos. Oh, I didn't think the deposition videos were available. No, I haven't done the
Yeah.
deposition videos. Oh, well, I will do that.
Yeah.
I've got other reversals on him. Like, let's just pull a couple of them out here and out of the air.
These ET groups, to avoid these cosmic laws, they'll incarnate as a human being, forget who and what they are, to go through the process of the genetic experiments that they're doing and not violate cosmic law.
And here it says, skill without con.
Well,
it could be steal without con, one of the two, either skill or steal. Then he says, I got so many of them here. We'll play this one. Here we go. Here's another one.
Yes, the kids, either from gifted programs or a lot of the kids that have intuitive empath abilities, they like to pull people out of families.
We better fake it. You hearing those two okay?
Yeah, you can hear them pretty clear.
Yeah, I know. They're pretty amazing. Here's another one. Here, we'll just play this one.
And they basically restored who he was, the ET consciousness. They restored it. So he looks like Gonzalez, but he acts like a completely different person. He is not the same person.
And he's saying, serve mess, the con's big.
Serve mess, the con's big. Serve mess, the con's big.
So the mess is all the rubbish he's stirring up, all the controversy, and the con's big. What do I say? There it is, plain as day. Yeah.
When were those done? Those were done quite a while ago, right?
No, last year.
Oh, last year. Okay.
Yeah, they're fairly recent. The interview was from. Hang on, I can tell you the interview. The interview was from the 17th of November, 2020. There we go.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's really interesting. Bring up the ones on Wilcox. Let's listen to a few Wilcox.
If you do Corey Good, you got to do David Wilcox, don't you? Yeah. Now, I should let you people know, I never knew any of these people before I started my work, with UFOs. I didn't know who these guys are. So here is, where are we? Okay, here is David Wilcox.
And there is a substrate material that we're putting in that's based on graphene. And this allows us to make something called nanoconcrete. And nanoconcrete only requires sand.
In mock, it must scam it.
In mock, it must scam it.
In mock, it must scam it. In mock, it must scam it.
Oh, well, he's mocking the whole scene.
Yeah.
He's mocking the whole thing and saying, yeah, I'll just give you a scam, And it says this rather ominous reversal.
So that if there was a nuclear war, and if you wanted to be living in our underground base, we're going to build it, okay? We probably will end up doing that for the customers who would like that kind of facility, and we're going to do it where...
I'm near the Lucifer.
Near the Lucifer.
Probably not as clear as the other one, but it's still there nonetheless. So
yes, I heard it.
Oh, here's a funny one. Here, we'll finish off the funny one on Wilcox.
So that's a very fascinating concept, and the idea that gravity, of course, sticks to matter as it goes along because it's pushing on us, right? Gravity is sticky. It has a stickiness to matter.
Gravity is sticky, okay? This reversal says, but I'm a silly kid.
I'm a silly kid.
I'm a silly kid. I'm a silly kid.
Yeah, anyone who says gravity is sticky deserves the title of a silly kid. I don't know what to tell you.
The things that came out of David Wilcock and Corey Good's mouth are unbelievable. It's a complete joke, and you just proved it with those reversals. So since we're on the UFO topic, do you have any on Dr. Stephen Greer?
Stephen Greer, yes, I do.
Ooh.
I have Bob Lazar.
Oh, yes. Let's get some Bob Lazar, too.
Yes, I thought you'd like that one. That's why I threw that name in. Stephen Greer. He's an interesting character, Stephen Greer. I can't quite work him out. Like he starts off with a really nice reversal.
And since then, of course, eventually this overtook my medical career. I'm retired from medicine now, but stay current. I just turned 66, so
He says, it's divine.
It's divine. It's divine. It's divine.
So that's an interesting verse to start off with. Then he says this straight after.
And I was raised a very devout atheist. We didn't believe in anything. I always say a devout atheist. My parents, if you couldn't put it in a test tube, it didn't exist.
And here he says, with that little fake.
I
don't know what the fake is, but there he said it. And here's another one here.
And so this is really beautiful. It's called epigenetics. And what's called epigenetics are not the main genes that are, that we think of, but they actually are.
The con was to land.
The thunders get ended. The thunders get ended. The thunders get ended.
You're thinking of UFOs landing, and what does he mean by the con was to land?
Or he's trying to con people out of money.
I think so.
That's a big one. I mean, he sells an app that for $10.99 or $9.99 that tells you that you can contact aliens if you download the app and you sit and meditate.
Well, there we go. Well, there's a con. But here's an interesting one. Listen to this one. Listen to this one.
Whoever is in control at the tippy top is the place to go, because clearly it's not happening at the level we're at.
There's a committee. I know a number of the members of it. Called it's had various names over the years. In the 40s, 50s, it was MJ12, Majority 12, a group of men that were in charge of this issue. It's one of the names. It's in the 90s. I have a document that was given to me that's classified that I published. There's a book called Unacknowledged that has this document in it. Called Magic, MAJIC. It's CIA.
Here it says it's CIA, damn it.
See, it's CIA, It's CIA, It's CIA.
So I don't know. I think he's got some connections with the CIA. I don't know much about Stephen Greer, but
that's an interesting one. That's a really interesting one. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we got this one on him.
So people have to understand how information and disinformation is embedded with a strategic objective. I really need to do an entire course on counterintelligence and disinformation.
My shame of my sin.
No shame or that's goodness. No shame or that's goodness. No shame or that's goodness.
So there, that don't paint Stephen Greer in a very good light either, I'm afraid. A lot of the pillars of ufology have fallen in my research, but here, let me play you someone who's telling the truth, okay? And this is Travis Walton. You know the story of Travis Walton?
Yes.
Yeah, abducted in the early 70s, passed numerous lie detector tests, as did the other people who were in the abduction with him. And here we see a totally different type of reversal. So here's the forward.
Well, these crystals are supposed to have very special properties for people who are into crystal stuff. But
what does that say there, Jamie? This is what happens. That's what can.
And he says, I see the powerful ship.
I see the powerful ship. I see the powerful ship. I see the powerful ship.
So there we go. That's someone telling the truth. Okay. So he actually did see something. All right. And then he's talking about the ETs.
So I guess at some point, one of the members of the group said that was a flying saucer.
Yeah, just as soon as we had a clear view of it.
He says they're very real.
They're very real. They're very real. They're very real.
So you hear the difference between those who are conning and those who are telling the truth. Okay. So Travis Walton is confirming his story, okay, and saying, yes, I see the powerful ship. They're very real. They're Then he says this is a little bit ominous.
It can't be a campsite because it's coming from higher than where the crest of the ridge. You can estimate, even though you can't see it, the trees are too thick.
Planet, you will attack it.
Planet, you will attack it. Planet, you will attack it. Planet, you will attack it.
And now that's a bit of an ominous reversal, isn't it? But they're congruent. They're telling the same story. Okay, so we assume that he is telling the truth and that his ET abduction experience was actually quite real, according to reverse speech. Anyway.
That's super interesting about Travis Walton. I haven't really looked too much into his story, but I'm pretty familiar with it. I've listened to him talk about it and stuff. So I'll have to really dig into Travis Walton and what he thinks was going on. You have you mentioned Billy Meyer before we got on. Give us some Billy Meyer stuff because I think he's a huge con as well.
Yeah, the Billy Meyer reversals got me into a lot of trouble, actually. Of all the reversals I've done, I've had some Billy Meyer fans really, really get under my goat for this. So they don't like my...
He's got like a cult going on. Just basically like Corey Good.
He actually says cult backwards. So here's the first one.
Where do they come from, Mr. Meyer? They shall be coming from the star picture of the Pleiades.
And he says, I help the bullshit prosper.
I help the bullshit prosper.
And then he says this here. I'm just pulling him out at random here.
Human being, if man, if child, or if woman, there is just really nothing.
You con in it, cash you get. So it's a con, and he's doing it for money. And then
that one was a little hard to hear. I don't think it was up high enough. The audio wasn't up high enough.
No, you're absolutely right. The audio was faint. I'm sorry about that. I apologize for that.
Oh, it's all right.
I actually turned it right up full, actually. So let me pull up the reversals about the con. And not the con, the cult.
Yeah.
Where are they? I've got a couple here. Okay, here's one of them. I think there's two of them.
Did Senior have contacts with anybody else while she was there? No. The single contact Senior had all the time she was on Earth was with me only.
Look, this might be a bit too hard to hear too. Sorry about that. You all be the cult.
You all be the cult.
You hear that?
I heard the first one. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's a little bit hard to hear. I got another one about the cult. Where is it? Oh, maybe I don't. I thought I had two on a cult here with Laura. No. Oh, here's a funny one. Listen to this one.
That's Switzerland. That's near Parisville, between here and Odysee.
You sell my crazy shit?
There
you go. That's fairly clear. So,
it's been proven that Billy Meyer just faked all of his pictures and his and all that they were all just trash can lids.
He's actually got a reversal that says that about faking the UFO. Where is it? Let me see if I can put my hands on it real quick. He made it. Oh yeah, here we go. Listen to this.
Just now, the trees are growing up in the last months. They are about 1.5 or 2 meter higher than at the time when I took this picture. Then why did it move?
And it says, first ship, fake wood.
Ships it wood.
I reckon he modeled it out of wood. So that's Billy Meyer. He didn't shape up too well at all, unfortunately. So, yeah, look. I should tell you something. I actually quite believe in UFOs and the whole field of ufology. So, I've had a couple of sightings myself, but the majority of people that I've reversed in this field are lying or just pulling a scam, which is disappointing. It really is. But anyway,
very disappointing. Do you have one of who else popular in the U.S.? You have Whitley Strieber?
Yeah, I do. He shaped up pretty well. Whitley Strieber, here he is. Well, which one shall I play? I've got so many. Oh, gee, he doesn't look like he shaped as well as I thought he did. Okay, here's the nice one. He's talking about his family.
And then my son popped up. He was a teenager and said, "Well, you know, Dad, you really are the most embarrassing father in the world." And I thought, my God, he's right.
I found glow in their love.
Both have glow when they're loved. Both have glow when they're loved. Both have glow when they're loved.
So we can assume from that he has a very healthy, good relationship with his family. Okay. However, when he starts talking about some ET stuff, you get reversals like this.
Presence, the nature of which we cannot even guess at, let alone understand it on a functional level, or even a philosophical level, really.
And here he says, a Satan to be honored.
A Satan to be honored. A Satan to be honored. A Satan to be honored.
Yeah, I guess that wasn't as clear as I thought it was.
It's pretty clear. You can pretty much hear it.
Oh, you can hear it. Okay, all right. Then we have this one straight after.
There are two ways of looking at the situation that I think are productive. The first is one that has been recently coming back into fashion in philosophy after being dismissed for many years as being just too Platonic, which is Plato's cave.
Live, Satan knows.
Live, Satan knows. Live, Satan knows. Live, Satan knows.
This is a theme that I have been finding on some ET contacts, is this negative spiritual reference to Satan and Lucifer. What that means yet, I don't know. I'm not prepared to say the whole thing is an occultic phenomena yet, but Satan and the devil are themes that come up in the research I've done. For example, Skinwalker Ranch, which we all know very well, had some really quite concerning reversals. Let me, where were they? I've got the, okay. Oh, hang on, not that one. No. Where are the concerning ones? Well, I can't see him off the top of my head. Oh, yeah, here's one here. This is Robert Bigelow, former owner of Skinwalker Ranch.
At that place, there weren't any other kinds of normal lights, so it had to have been probably moonlight. But there was a blackness like around you.
They were devils.
They would have those things.
They would have those things. They would have those things.
Okay, so there you have a negative sort of spiritual connotation attached to it. He seems to be telling the truth, though. Like, for example, this one here. This is the current owner, Brandon Fugel.
Actually resides on site full time in what we call Homestead One, which is 100-year-old homestead on one side of the property that continues to see strange activity.
Hear the path, the less known.
Hear the path, the less known. Hear the path, the less known. Hear the path, the less known.
Yeah, he's exploring the unknown. Okay, so he's generally looking into Skinwalker Ranch and what is actually going on there. And where's Okay, here's another one from Skinwalker Ranch. Now, I think the verses I found on Skinwalker Ranch indicate that the phenomenon that's happening there is real. I don't deny the phenomena. I question the source of the phenomena.
Sure, and it was the night of the 12th of March, so that the first incident happened on the 10th.
Mm-hmm. The serpents need the worst scum.
The serpents need the worst scum. The serpents need the worst scum.
So with Skinwalker Ranch, we've got this general negativity around the whole experience. We also don't deny the experiences that are happening there. There's certainly some paranormal activity there, but I question its source. Okay, so
that makes a lot of sense. And with Whitley Strieber that we just went through, it's really interesting how the gray ET phenomenon really just pops up after Whitley Strieber's book, Communion.
You're absolutely right.
He writes that book, it comes out, then everyone's seeing gray aliens. It's exactly like Bud Hopkins in his book in 1981 with Screen Memories and there's another thing, Missing Time. After he wrote that book, Missing Time, everyone started coming out and saying that they have missing time. Do you have anything on Bud Hopkins? Have you done any on Bud Hopkins?
No, I haven't done Bud Hopkins. I need to do him, actually. He's on my list. So thank you for reminding me. I will get to him in the next couple of weeks. Okay?
What about Jim Mars? You got anything on Jim Mars?
Oh, no, I don't, unfortunately. Jim Mars I should be doing too. The late, great Jim Mars.
Yes.
Yeah, he was a marvelous man. I did a couple of radio shows together with Jim Mars, like when I did my research into the JFK assassination. He did joint radio shows with me as we explained as I played the verses. His great knowledge of the JFK assassination was able to explain some of the verses that I didn't know the meanings to. So,
yeah, let's do those two would be very fascinating because they're like two pillars of the ufology and all that. So I'd be interested to hear their reversals. Let's do the Bob Lazar. Let's hear the Bob Lazar one.
Bob Lazar. Oh, well, this one's going to get me in a lot of trouble because everyone loves to believe Bob Lazar. However, let me see. Okay, here's the first one.
Generally you're just assigned a badge and shown the general procedures and things of that sort. This was a little different.
All my lies of sin. That's a bit quick, that one. All my lies of sin. Then we got this one here.
It's 10 years in jail and a $10,000 fine. Does that sound familiar to you? It does. I've signed something like that before, but this is certainly far above and beyond that, which was kind of shocking, actually.
With me, a CIA.
Let me up. Yeah. Let me up. Yeah. Let me up. Yeah.
With me, a CIA. Then this one here.
The other mode is the Delta configuration, and this is how it normally travels through space and makes large jumps.
I scam in this.
I'll scam it.
Sorry, wrong reversal. I'll scam it. Sorry, I was reading the wrong reversal. I'll scam it.
I'll scam it. I'll scam it.
And then he says this. I'm just pulling about at random here.
I went down there early, and Ed Teller was outside, leaning on a brick wall there and reading the front page of the paper.
They are spies?
Yeah, spies.
Yeah, spies. Yeah, spies.
Here's another one. This is an interesting one. This one was an interview he did in 2019 after his big publicity in the late 1990s. He did this one 20 years later.
We played around with the parts long enough before I got there where they could make the reactor operate, take the fuel out, and know that it makes it work.
Grow a scam that had won.
Grow a scam that had won.
Grow a scam that had won. Grow a scam that had won.
In other words, when it came out in the 1990s, everyone believed him. It took off very well. And so now, 20 years later, he's saying, well, the first scam worked. Let's just add a little bit more information to it. I personally think Bob Lazar is CIA. I think it's a clever CIA disinformation campaign to redirect attention away from what they're really doing with UFOs. That's what I personally think. Here's another one.
You know, when I worked there, I was on the front page of the paper. So they were still able to archive, you know, bring that back from the archives. And, you know, Bob Lazar, a physicist working here at Los Alamos. So there was at least something there.
This is a fraud.
This is a fraud.
This is a fraud. This is a fraud.
I don't know. How many more do you want to hear on Bob Lazar that shows it's a scam?
Wow, that's incredible. And not only that, there's so many people that, you know, back up his story too.
I know.
Richard Doty backs up his story. Richard Dolan backs up his story. George Knapp backs up his story. Jeremy Corbell backs up his story, you know, so it's like, what's happening here? It does seem like a CIA operation for sure. And definitely whenever, you know, I have a friend that was on my show, his name's Stephen Cambion, and he's dug deep into Bob Lazar, and he's saying basically like what you're saying, that he was a CIA op. He never had any of the degrees from any of the colleges or universities that he said that he ever went to. You know, there's no information about him anywhere. He wasn't in any of the yearbooks, none of that. So, yeah.
Right. Yeah, well, that's what my reversals say. It's all the reversals I found, not my reversals. Reversals I found say that it was a CIA disinformation campaign, and it worked very, very well. Here's one more final one on him to verify this.
You could walk on that in the upper layer, but if you took the corner, stuck your finger in, and pushed, it collapsed and made an entryway. So I thought that was a really unique. I'd never seen that before, and it was the only thing in the craft that made absolute sense to me. I said, we can make that, and all that is a hatchway.
I feel the spy. Damn it!
Still the spy, damn it!
Let's do the spy, damn it! Let's do the spy, damn it!
Yeah, or it could be the spy, damn it. Anyway, there we go. Not as clear as I thought it was, but anyway. But I've got at least probably half a dozen references to CIA and spies and disinformation on Bob Lazar. So that's my conclusion. Even though I'd love to believe his story, I really would, but reversals don't back it up.
Yeah, that's super interesting. And do you have anybody else from the? I can't think of any other big names that you might have from the UFO or community.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through them now. Some of the names I don't know. Gee, who are all these people? I'm just trying to think who's. I think I've only. Look, I've only got one on Stanton Friedman. It doesn't really make any sense.
I'd like to start with pointing it towards some of the evidence. And I used to check my audiences, and I found that fewer than 2% had read any of the 5 large-scale scientific studies that I talk about. This keeps down the questions you want.
He says, jealousy loves stupid.
Jealousy loves stupid.
Jealousy loves stupid. Jealousy loves stupid.
Jealousy loves stupid. I think people are jealous of him, you know. And he's just saying that's a bit ridiculous. Let me have a look. What have I got in 2003? I was looking at 2002. What's this? Padillo, 1904. Oh, yeah, this was a... oh, you know what we should look at? Let's look at Roswell. Where's my Roswell? Roswell's is in 2022. Done a bit of reversals on Roswell. Roswell, here we go. Okay, Roswell. This was a general and Operation Blue Book talking about the Roswell crash.
That's not to say that you could not have identified more cases if you had gotten to the observance quickly and checked the local activity.
We took the vessel. So that would imply that there was indeed a crash that they took. Okay. Then, here's an interesting one about the Roswell crash. Listen to this one.
Well, I didn't go out to the base. Yeah, I was curious, but I didn't go out to the base, and probably a couple hours later, Then I got an emergency call. There was an airman that was injured in an accident.
And this one says, fuck, this is German.
This is German.
This is German. This is German.
This is German in 1947 on the Roswell crash. Oh, yeah. That's interesting. Okay.
It's very interesting because if you read through the actual official Roswell report, you'll see that they're very concerned that it's German craft.
Right. That's exactly right. Yeah, I know. Well, actually, talking about German, let me play you some reversals from Apollo 12. This is the Apollo 12 mission. Let's listen to this. You see Roswell, my Germany. See, I've done the whole moon landing. I happen to believe that we did go to the moon, but based on my reversals. But what we did there and what we found there has not been reported. It's a totally different thing altogether. So when he says, you see Roswell, my Germany, I'm going, well, what's Germany and Roswell got to do with each other, you know? And here's another one on the moon.
Okay. I got the people out. Got the paper. And I set up the industry at the time.
And he says, ETs must have found it.
It's not that down there. It's not that down there.
I guess the audio is not good on that, is it? Because of the radio transmission.
Yeah, I could hear it. I could make it out. A little difficult to hear, but I could definitely make it out. So you think based off of the Apollo missions, we did in fact go to the moon?
Yes, I believe we went to the moon. Yes, I do. Yeah. Versus, I know that's a controversial opinion to hold in the alternates field, but the reversals I found in the moon landing, I think, are quite clear. I think people are perceiving a con in the moon landing, and the con is not that we did not go. The con is what we found there when we went there and what we did. Personally, that's my own personal opinion. So, make of that what you will. And but you got German again. Like, here's Apollo 12 again. Listen to this. Germans from Earth know it. Of course, all of NASA back in the 70s was all German run. I mean, it was Operation Paperclip. Old German scientists were running. Yeah, the head of NASA was a German when the Apollo mission went up. So I don't know. I want more reversals, but I see Germany scattered throughout ET contacts every now and then, and I'm not too sure exactly what it means, unless the Germans were far more advanced than we knew they were in rocketry. So, yeah.
What if the UFOs and the ETs aren't really UFOs or ETs, and they're the Germans?
That is a highly likely possibility. Yes, I wonder that. I'm not stating that as a fact, but I certainly ask myself that question. Yes.
That would make sense, right?
Yes.
Why you're getting so many reversals revolving around Germany and Germans, and the Roswell incident involving Germans.
Exactly right. Yeah, I play those reversals to throw a question out, not to make a statement. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. That's why I asked the question. Could it be possible that the craft and everything's been blamed on ETs when it's really been us this whole time, right? It's been.
Yep. That's a distinct possibility. Look, I don't have any answers for the ET phenomena yet. I've been researching for a year on the UFOs, but I'm nowhere near close to getting an answer yet. So I'll be researching this for another year or two, I think, before I have any answers. Currently, I've just got questions. Unfortunately, the majority of the UFO people out there in the alternate field are liars and cons. That's just the way it is. It's a shame that it is that way, but it is, according to my research. And And unfortunately, their efforts tend to discredit the genuine instances that are out there and discredit genuine research and questioning into the phenomena, and that's sad.
You have any on George Knapp at all? Have you done any on him?
The only ones I got on George Knapp is from the Skinwalker Ranch incident. Let me have a look at them. Here's another one. There's so many people to reverse. You know, I mean, where do
right? Yeah.
Okay,
I'm just throwing people out there right now.
Okay, here's George Knapp on Skinwalker Ranch deal.
People who were described themselves, for example, as friendly skeptics who had worked with the National Academy of Sciences over there, who were very open to the UFO topic.
Made your source my doubt.
Made your source my doubt. Made your source my doubt. Made your source my doubt.
So it would apply that George Knapp has some doubt over it. However, then we have this one.
It wasn't
been reports of smells at the Skinwalker Ranch, unusual smells.
I met that I was given access with Bigelow's permission to take a look at the files and the reports that were pouring in from the ranch and the scientists who were up there.
They're awful with sulfur.
They're awful with sulfur. They're awful with sulfur.
So there's a sulfur smell out on the ranch. I don't know. I know we've had some reports of unusual smells. So you know, no.
And then that correlates too with the sulfur, with the demonic entities and the demonic messages that you've gotten at Skinwalker Ranch as well, because that's a scent that demonic entities are supposedly put off, is like a sulfur smell. So that's a really good connection there.
Yeah. So these are all some fascinating things I've been finding. You know, what they all mean yet I don't know. I'm still doing research. Here's a lady who claims to channel ETs. Elena Danan.
Oh, I can't wait for this one.
Okay.
Well, we know why the dark sides never wanted this history to be told, to be revealed, because they are losing power. It just destroys them.
Little lie talking.
That's
probably not as clear as I thought it was, that one.
It's pretty clear though.
Yeah. Here we go, another one.
No, the children are done all in the same way, all the time. It's the same species, so it works the same, you know, you know how it works.
You're messing it, war.
You're messing it all.
You're messing it all. You're messing it all. I don't know what the war is, but certainly you're messing it. She's creating a real little mess. Here's another one. Oh, hang on. No, we'll try this one here.
No, the science vessels are also long, but they are more elaborated in shapes. They have little bits everywhere sticking. That's how I could describe them.
Make it sell.
Make it sell.
Make it sell. Make it sell. In other words, she's selling her idea, you know. She's got to make it convincing. So it's sold, okay? And
absolutely, that's she's been exposed here recently as well, and
really? Okay.
yeah, she's a fraud too. So that makes a lot of sense. You've done good work on these people.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, you know, I mean, I got more work to do, obviously. The UFO field is so big, you know. Oh, look, here's a funny one. This is Jane Gilliland. He's well known.
Greeting. This is James Gillen with As You Wish Talk Radio, also simulcasting on ECETI Stargate, Rumble, and a few others. So we're out there on VMO and YouTube and everywhere, basically. So stay tuned. A lot of changes happening here. I'm not even going to get into the news. I think we can talk about the news on the show. Probably have to be careful what we say.
You're nauseating the public. make of that one what you did, what you want to do, you know. So yeah,
that was a good one. That was super clear. And again, that James Gilliland has been exposed as well. So you're killing it on these people. Who else you got?
I feel a little bit sort of bit disappointing when people ask me for US or UFOs. The majority of people I've done are all lying. You know, it's just really disappointing that the whole scene has been taken over. You know, so well, look, if we're knocking icons, here's Kerry Cassidy.
Oh.
Hi, everyone. I'm Carrie Cassidy from Project Camelot, and I'm here today with Kimberly and Gauguin, and we're going to be talking about her involvement with this organization, which she calls, I guess, the Universal Council.
I'll make it up. Look, I don't know. I don't make this up. I just find them. You know, that's all I can say. And
Kerry Cassidy has been a huge perpetuator of nonsense in this community. So it makes sense that you get that in the reversal.
Unfortunately, here's another one on Kerry Cassidy.
So when you say you outrank them, can you explain where your rank is and why would they obey that ranking sort of system? Why who's got the power in that situation?
Goes this con?
These
who's making an appearance on the scene lately? There's a lady called Dolly. Let's see if I can pull her reversals up real quick. Claims to be traveling on spacecraft. No, I can't see them. Where did I save them? Oh, here they are. There they are. Oh, now these are different reversals altogether. Wow. Oh, okay. Now these are interesting. Here we have Dolly.
Obviously.
I have a lot of respect for her. All of them, I honor them. They are. I hero worship them. My father was also a hero to me. Also, I absolutely respect, honor.
Her thought in the grey. Interesting. Her thought in the grey. Interesting. And we got this one. She might be telling the truth.
I mostly deal with our solar system. I'm been trained for a mission that I've yet to finish here.
They've got a mission?
Well,
that's interesting. All right. Well, these are congruent reversals. Okay. She talks about being all over the solar system.
They have this on the moon. There's another planet in our solar system that has a moon that they actually use.
Let the moon with Saturn?
The moon was added.
I don't know. Interesting reversal. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's Dolly. Oh.
Do you know what her last name is?
No, I don't know. I think she only goes on the name of Dolly. It's a pseudonym. So, and she's doing the rounds right now of all the podcasts. Anyway, I don't know. I need to do more reversals on her.
Yeah, that one's super interesting.
Yeah. But reverse speech offers the UFO field an amazing tool. It's what they've been looking for years, a way to look in and examine the minds of these people who claim they've had ET UFO experiences, you know. And like I said, you know, I actually believe in the whole phenomenon. It's just a shame that there's so many liars and cons out there that are discrediting the field.
Before I let you go, David, which I appreciate your time this evening. This has been super enlightening. I love your work, and it's interesting nonetheless. And I hope people have enjoyed it. I've definitely enjoyed it. It's been a really fun episode. Do you have anybody like sort of like Dolly and sort of like Travis that we can kind of end on that's in this community that may possibly actually be telling the truth? Because those ones with Travis were pretty spot on. It seemed like he was definitely telling the truth.
Yeah, they were pretty spot on. Let me just have a quick. Oh yeah, here we go. Betty and Barney Hill. Okay, they go way back to the late 50s. Okay, so he's talking about her ET experience.
And at that point, it left the top of the mountain, came out over the highway, and stopped in midair directly in front of us, maybe about 50 feet in the sky.
Try to tell it. You're frightened.
I just felt it. You're frightened. I just felt it. You're frightened. I just felt it. You're frightened.
So that's a clear reversal on Betty Hill, who claims she was abducted by ET. You probably know that story.
Yes.
Okay. And here's another one.
We gave them different names to identify. Now, I don't know if he was a leader or the interpreter.
Her deal was a big one.
Her deal was a big one. Her deal was a big one.
Yeah, something very big happened to her. Okay. So, to me, she seems to be telling the truth. Here she is talking about being probed.
Eyes and mouths, smaller nose, and smaller mouth. No protruding part of the ear and no hair.
Warn the ray and the dark needle.
One ray, the dark needle. One ray, the dark needle. One ray, the dark needle.
I think that's when she was experimenting on a probe, So, yeah, she's telling a true story. Okay, so there you go.
That one about the deal is very interesting to me, David, because I believe it was Barney Hill that his very first statements, I'm not for sure if it was Betty as well, but Barney's first statements was that it was the military that abducted them, that he saw military officers in military uniforms, right? And it wasn't until after they got regressed that he also, after Betty got regressed, she started saying that it was aliens. And then after Barney got regressed, he started saying that it was aliens as well. He kind of picked up on Betty Hill's story. So I'm wondering if that deal somewhere has something to do with them changing their story to it was aliens and not the military.
It could very well be. Nowhere in the interview does she say ETs or aliens, just that whatever happened to her did indeed happen. So, yes, could very well be in the military. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, I find that one very interesting. Thanks so much, David. I appreciate your time. It was wonderful. I had a lot of fun. I hope everyone really enjoyed it. This was just a laid back conversation that we had and wanted to get out David's work here because he's the follower of all this stuff. Can you let people know where to find you, plug a website or anything where people can look up some more of your work?
Yes, go to my website at reversespeech.com. All my work is there. If you want to follow me in depth, go to my Facebook page. Just search for David Oates. I'm very active on there. I post all my current reversals as I find them. So, and all the latest reverse speech news is on my Facebook page. David Oates, search on Facebook. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Hey.
Yeah, no problem. I had a lot of fun, and the links to David's information will be in the description of this video. If you're interested in this, if you're fascinated, I highly recommend you checking out his work. For everyone else, thanks for watching and listening. Much love to everyone in the chat. Please be sure to hit the thumbs up button, help the channel and the YouTube algorithm, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon as well for notifications. All the links to all of my other platforms is in the description as well. Be sure to subscribe on all of the different podcast platforms, Rokfin, Odysee, and Rumble. And remember, we're not only in a spiritual war, but a war on humanity. Stay aware, stay alert, keep loving your heart for everyone. Stay safe out there. And if you can see through the illusion, you are the solution. See you guys next time.